Penny,
Yes.
thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
No, thank you guys for having me.
First, before we get to sports talk, we know you're helping bring more focus to World Autism Awareness Day. So what inspired you to get behind this cause?
Well, what inspired me was my son was diagnosed with autism when he was 2 years old. And we started seeing the signs. We took him to the doctor and they diagnosed him with autism. So with the occupational speech therapies and all the different therapies that he had to do, he tested out of the spectrum a year later. And we caught it early enough. We saw the signs, we acted on it. We call him our miracle. We were blessed enough for him to test out of it the next year. He's been the valedictorian of his class, making straight A's in college, and is on the basketball team. So it's truly amazing for sure.
So you mentioned your son being on your team and you all won the NIT. So talk about your emotions getting to accomplish that alongside of him.
Yeah, no, that was a great feeling, for me and my son. He contributed to that cause. He played in every game, and he's coming to his own. But not only for him and I, but for the city, for the university, it's a great feat for us as a group.
I want to switch gears a little bit. Last summer, I'm sure you remember, every sports fan got caught up in the 90s NBA nostalgia, watching The Last Dance, specifically the 95 series. That was a big part of the documentary. We got to relive the Magic being the team that beat Jordan and the Bulls in their prime. So what was that like for you watching that on the big screen, and what kind of memories came up for you watching that?
It was actually cool because I was a fan of The Last Dance because I didn't know a lot of the things that happened behind closed doors. Obviously, none of us did. I was in that era, and I didn't know that it was as crazy as it was with that bunch. But, for us, we looked at it as they were a dominant group, and for us to be able to, put ourselves on the map, and we had to overcome that hurdle with the Chicago Bulls, and we did. We beat them in 6 games, and I just remember being so happy that we beat Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls because no one had ever beaten them in the playoffs, so we were the first team to beat them.
I feel like it really showed us what could have been with that Magic team. It was like, I think Shaq mentioned recently that if he could go back and play with anyone, he would play with you. And, if you hadn't gotten injured and Shaq hadn't left, would we be talking about a Magic dynasty, not, the Lakers one for the late 90s, early 2000s?
I have the utmost confidence that if Shaq would have stayed and I would have stayed healthy, that we would have gotten at least 1 or 2 championships because we were on our way. We were dominant, we were young, we were talented, and all we would have had to do in free agency was grab a couple guys that could have really helped us win those championships. But the Lakers, no, they did the thing after Shaq left. But if he would have stayed, I'm sure we would have been on that same level.
So you said you have utmost confidence for 1 or 2 championships. Do you ever look back at 96 and think, is there anything you could have done differently to keep it so you and Shaq were in Orlando?
I could have begged more. Like, man, what are we going to do? What's going on? Please don't leave me. We can win championships. But I think the idea of him going to LA to play with Kobe and also the movie industry, Hollywood, that really intrigued him. So, Disney World wasn't enough. He wanted Disneyland and Hollywood.
So speaking about movies, you and Shaq were in Blue Chips together 27 years ago. And a lot of the things that they addressed in that movie still are relevant in today's NCAA. And with big changes on the horizon for college hoops, for college sports, and new legislation being passed, where do you see things going as it relates to athletes profiting off of their name and their image and likeness?
Yeah, well, I think it's moving in the direction of the athlete's favor, obviously because of the name, image, and likeness rule, where if they pass that, and I'm sure that they will, that athletes will be able to make money off of their own name or their own brand. It's so long. The NCAA has made billions of dollars off athletes, and athletes get a stipend from the university, but it's like a small amount of money compared to what's being made off of their name, image, and likeness. So to even that out, even though it'll never get even, but moving forward, the athletes will be able to make their own money, and I think that's great.
Do you see that being the main reason that athletes are going to keep coming back to the NCAA?
Yeah, for sure, because they have to evolve. The G League is offering $500,000 to high school kids to wait 1 year before they go to the NBA. If the NCAA isn't going to get on board, they're going to lose out. So they have to evolve just like everything else is evolving.
So we've looked at your NBA career, we've talked a little bit about Memphis, and obviously there's some huge news that dropped this week of Coach Roy Williams' retirement. What is your reaction to all of this, and what do you think his legacy is for college hoops?
Well, my reaction, I was shocked because, Coach Roy, he's a youngster. He's older gentleman, but he's still hip. He's dancing with the kids in the locker room. He's totally into the games when you watch the games. It's not like he was looking like he was tired of it. But I can understand with everything that's going on, for him to just sign off and say, hey, I've done enough. I did it my way. I'm out of here. I definitely respect him for that. But his legacy he is a legend. He's a guy that's done it on so many different levels, as far as from coaching, from touching so many lives of the athletes that he's had on all of his teams. And there's nothing but love and respect for Coach Williams. And he's an even better gentleman in that case. So I always had great things to say and positive things to say to me out on the road, and I appreciate him for that. And congratulations on his retirement.
We appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us on Sports Seriously.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey sports fans, if you want to see more videos like this, check out some of our other ones right here. And if you like what you see, make sure to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more from USA Today Sports.